Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Our OP made that lady feel like her voice was heard. I can only imagine that fast food does little to reward workers who make this extra effort. His compliance may have been malicious. Wholesome for sure, but he showed some humanity that day. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Ice is cold, but sometimes malicious compliance isn't. Maybe not truly malicious, but y'all probably need something wholesome. When I was a teenager, I worked at a certain fast food restaurant known for customer service. I used to work the drive-thru, I was the voice in the box, while also prepping drinks for the window. We'd have people come through with all kinds of requests and grievances. One day, I was taking a woman's order and she added a bottle of water. The last time I ordered a bottle of water, it was warm, so please make sure you give me one that's cold this time. We keep the bottles in the fridge, but they get stocked from room temp, so I guess she got one that was recently stocked the last time. Lady's really upset about this and reminds me a few more times to make sure it's cold. Being a teen, I'm mildly amused with myself when I decide to most certainly make sure her water is cold. I grab one of our extra large cups, fill it with ice, and stuff the water bottle right in the middle. My coworker at the window gives me a weird look, but I tell her to go along with it. Lady comes to the window and my coworker hands her the cup/ice/bottle contraption. I'm feeling slightly smug until the lady starts ranting and raving about how this is customer service and how happy she is to know it'll most certainly be cold, etc., etc. She even ended up submitting feedback to the store about how great it was. At the end of the day, I'm happy she got her cold water, even if it was in the most ridiculous way. And our second story. DUI passengers demand transport home. This happened a while ago. People carrier gets stopped on the highway because it's all over the place, crossing the lines, etc. The vehicle ends up having 12 people, men/women/children in a vehicle designed for 10, all dressed up in high-quality clothing with expensive jewelry, phones, etc. The driver's arrested for DUI over 3 times the limit, and no other person in the vehicle is insured or sober enough to drive. They're still about an hour and a half away from their destination and have already been driving a similar time, so the vehicle with occupants gets driven back to the police station so they aren't just stranded on the side of the highway. We explain this is so they can arrange to get collected from a safe location and the vehicle can be looked after so it's not broken into whilst on the edge of the highway. We don't have to do this, but we don't want to leave them stranded in the middle of nowhere either. We let them know if they need the restroom whilst they wait to let us know, and we'll open the inquiry office, not staffed at night, for them to use facilities. On arrival, the first demands from DUI family began. The family asked when we'll be able to drive them to their destination in the vehicle. We explain this isn't going to happen. We've taken you to a place you can arrange to be safely collected from, and that's as much as we can do. The family are outraged. It's our fault they don't have a driver, and we should drive them home. It's explained that the only person they need to blame is the driver who could have killed their entire family. We also explain that we don't have the staffing to facilitate it even if they had lived nearby, which they don't. They then call dispatch and claim they've been left stranded by police. I have to explain to dispatch the whole sorry affair and then go talk to CB family again. Family now demand we book them a taxi and pay for it because we can't drive them home and we aren't going to release the driver to drive them home. I explain that we aren't going to pay for a taxi, but we can help them book a taxi. Now they rant that they pay our wages and taxes. We should be grateful to them and pay the taxi to get them home. They drop the usual, I know Chief such and such, I'll call him if you don't sort this out and you'll get sacked. I again explain we will not pay for them to get a taxi home. The only person for them to be angry at is the driver who put them all at risk. Family stomp off, saying that we're rude, useless, and are going to get fired. 15 minutes later, they return and are sweet as pie asking if we can help them book a taxi because they don't know the local firms. Immediately, we're suspicious. We ring up a local company who can manage that many people, but suggest they get payment up front. The company let us know that's their policy anyway for such a large group in the distance. We go back to the family and let them know that a transport's on the way, but they need to pay up front. The family absolutely loses it. How outrageous that they not be trusted to pay and are being treated like this. They aren't criminals and shouldn't be expected to pay up front, but eventually say that they'll pay cash. They storm off and wait for the taxi to arrive. The taxi arrives, and after talking to family, the driver comes over to us in the station. The driver just wanted to confirm the police are picking up the tab for the taxi. We explain that under no circumstances are we paying for the taxi. He thanks us and goes back to his vehicle without talking to them, gets in and drives away. Family comes back over and demand to know why he left. At this point, we'd had enough. We told them we would no longer assist them in any way. Any further interaction with officers would be treated as wasting police time and would result in arrests. The family leave without saying anything else. I don't know what they did, but an hour later, they'd gone and the car was still there. And our next story. I can be rude too. A little background. I used to work in a store that sold all kinds of cheap items, kind of like a dollar store, but a bit more upscale. During my time there, I was a shift manager. This story happened about 6 years ago around Christmas. It was a Tuesday morning and I was in the store alone. One of my colleagues had taken the day off, and because I didn't expect a very exciting morning, I'd scheduled myself to be alone in the store with a colleague coming in the afternoon to reinforce me for when it got busy. In comes this man in a pretty expensive-looking suit. This guy looked incredibly out of place compared to our normal customers. Hair slicked back, shoes polished so well you could see your own reflection. With him is his son, an equally well-dressed and groomed little individual. Suit guy and his child stroll around the store, and eventually Suit guy makes his way to the register where I'm at. He's carrying something from our sales section which is filled with damaged items or items we're trying to get rid of. Me. Good morning. Suit guy. How much is this? He says as he shoves a box in my face. Me. All right, let me check for you. I ring up the item. Me. That's $5. SG. But it's damaged. Me. I'm sorry, sir. It's just the box that's a bit dented. That's why it was placed in the sales section. It used to cost $30. SG. I don't care what it used to cost. It's damaged. I don't want to pay full price. Me. But you won't be paying full price. It's been discounted from $30 to $5. Pretty generous for just a dented box. SG. Well, I won't be paying $5. Give me a better deal. Me. Sorry, but I can't do that. SG then goes off on a rant about how I'm being unfriendly and rude, how well he's connected, and how he'll make sure that I'll get fired and never get a job again. Sure thing, Mr. Idle Threats. Sure thing. At this point, any semblance of a retail smile melts off my face, and I just tell him to go ahead with all those threats and also inform him he's no longer welcome in our store. I ask him to leave before I have to call security. He says he's going to get his son and leave. About 10 minutes later, SG is still in my store. I've called security, but they were, I learned later, busy with a violent shoplifter in another store. After browsing around for a while, SG and his son come up to the register, and SG's son puts down a toy they want to buy for him. Before I go on, I just want to say that I'm not exactly proud of what I did, but I'd do it all over again if I could. I'd look at SG, and I look at the toy, and SG tells me they'd like to pay for that. I look back at SG and tell him, I'm not going to help you after what you just said to me. I took the toy and put it behind the counter. Now, please leave like I asked you to do earlier. SG gets furious. I learned some new curses that day. After a couple of minutes of him yelling at me, he storms out of the store with this kid who's now in tears over not getting his toy. You try to threaten me and my job with idle threats? I'm going to fire back however I can. I did get called up by my supervisor a couple of days after. SG had called corporate and had filed a complaint against me. After telling them my side of the story and reviewing the camera footage of the incident, my supervisor sided with me and told me I was in my right to kick him out of the store and refuse further service. And our last story. Kid rips my mom's insulin pump out. Karen's completely fine with it. So me, my brother, and my mom are in line for the swimming pool. It was the summer and we swam a lot at the time. So in front of us is a family with a kid, probably 7, a kid probably 16, and of course Karen. It's all fine. We're just standing in line when that kid turns around and literally punches my mom in the stomach. He's laughing and having a blast doing it. My mom tells him politely to stop, and he does it again. That's right, folks. He does it again, harder too. So again, we tell him to stop, and he just keeps laughing. So we tell Karen about what's going on, and this is the conversation, roughly. EM, Karen. M, Mom. Me. M, hey, sorry, your kid's hitting me, and we've been asking him to stop, but he won't. EM, you're fine. Relax, he's just a kid. Me, my mom, my brother. What? So we just kind of don't know what to say, so we don't do anything about it. So before I say the next part, here's some stuff about my mom. She's diabetic type 1, so she has an insulin pump. It's a pod type thing that she exchanges every few days. When it's taken out, you can't use it again. You have to get another one. One pod's about $5 too. Anyway, so the kid notices the lump under my mom's shirt, so he literally grabs it right out. Ouch! It's in by a needle. That would hurt. He pulls it away, so now my mom has 30 minutes max to get a new one in before she passes out. Me, give that back. EM, what did you say? What is that? M, it's my insulin pump. I'm diabetic. This is really bad. EM, relax, you're fine. Just put it back in. M, I can't. EM, well, you shouldn't make it so tempting for people to take it. That's right, it's my mom's fault now. So I snatch it away, kid cries, we speed away quickly because this just became a very dangerous situation and my mom's life was in danger. We got home, she put in a new one, and everything was okay. But Karen and your stupid kid, I hate you. That's one of those scenarios where someone needs to stay behind and get the police involved and file charges for not only assault but attempted murder. That'll teach the entitled mom and her little jerk a valuable lesson. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.